You're watching Ride Like a Local with Belt Drive Betty. Ride Like a Local is brought to you in part by Community Futures, Grand Prairie and Region. I'm in Lacombe, Alberta at the Art and Motorcycle Show, being joined by Maureen McKenzie, who is the brainchild behind this amazing art event where she's combined motorcycles with traditional art forms. And how did you come up with that concept, Maureen?
Well, it was interesting. I was talking with John Ellenberger last fall. He was doing a mural at our spray park, and I was asking him if he had any general art pieces to put in the art show, and he said no. He said, airbrush artists are kind of considered low men on the totem pole. And I thought, that is so wrong. And I said, we're going to change that attitude in a hurry. And so I said, well, what if we did an airbrush motorbike show in conjunction with your art show and sale? Would you, consider being a part of it? And he said, yeah, in a heartbeat. And from there, I took it back to our community and said, let's pull in some amazing airbrush motorbikes and the artists, and let's see what we can do for the arts community, for the airbrush community, and kick everything up a notch.
Well, it seems to be very well attended. I'm looking around, somewhere around 600-700 people milling about. Everybody's got glasses of wine. They're partaking in the wonderful munchies, the wings and the sandwiches and all of the other things that you've supplied. How does it feel as an event coordinator to see a vision come true the way this one has?
Well, it's always one of those things where you plan an event that you haven't done before and you think, please God, let them show. Let everybody come to the event, and they're here. And so for myself and our committee and the volunteers, we are so stoked. We're so happy. We're so pleased. It's well above our expectations for sure.
It's pretty interesting to see bikers hobnobbing with all kinds of eclectic people. We have all kinds of society types here, different people from every walk of life, and everybody's here just drooling over the art.
I know, yeah, and that's the whole point. There are people here that would normally come to an art exhibit and sale, and which is what we wanted. We wanted to bring in new people to the art exhibit and sale. There are people here who would never look at a motorbike, but because it's promoted as art, they're here too, so it's a win-win no matter how we look at it.
Now, I overheard a little something out in the hallway that maybe, just maybe, you guys might be planning to make this a little bigger event for next year.
You did.
I have ears everywhere.
Well, we haven't really discussed that yet, but I've been getting a lot of elbows from quite a few people hoping that we will do this again next year. So we'll definitely take it into consideration because, when you build it and the people come, you want to keep the doors open for them.
Well, and from a community perspective, to have all these people who are here from outside of your community and getting exposed to some of the talented traditional artists. I look at some of the incredible photography and the clay work and all of the different pottery, the iron work that's in there. It's absolutely, utterly fabulous to see artists from different genres so in love with each other's work.
Absolutely, and every year I try to source new and different artists so that if you're someone that comes to the show every year, there's always new artists, new artwork to see, because nobody wants to see the same old, same old.
Well, I would have to say that this has been a resounding success already, and it still has about an hour and a half left to go. And I heard rumors on the front gate that you're actually recycling tickets because you haven't got enough.
It's true. We thought, if we got 400 to 500, that would be fabulous. So we're recycling tickets. We're, like you said, we're probably around the 700-800 mark now, which is killer because this evening is a fundraiser for our Arts Endowment Fund, which we use to grant money to artists to continue their education.
That's a wonderful cause. So the money that's raised here tonight is going to help up-and-coming artists to continue growing as artists.
That's exactly right. So we have an endowment fund. The money that from this event and, other events that we've held goes into a trust account, and then we only spend the interest. So we currently give about $2,500 a year away to artists. They apply for it, and we give them a grant. And last year we had a potter go to Japan for training. So, you know, without the endowment fund, those kinds of things just don't happen. And hopefully, you know, we'll have a budding airbrush artist that'll come up and apply for the grant.
That'd be awesome. Well, again, thank you so much for inviting me and for having me be part of this. It's been a thrilling experience.
Hey, you know what? You did so much for us. With your promotion, my gosh, when I heard about you and the Busted Nethco Chronicles, I said, we got to get on board with this woman because she's got connections that I don't have, and you did a phenomenal job of sourcing some of the artists, some of the motorcycles, promoting it through the Busted Nethco Chronicles. We couldn't have done it without you, so thank you.
Well, it's great to be a part of something that is so rewarding.
Well, right back at you, sister.
I'm being joined right now by Patsy Earle, and Patsy is an exceedingly talented airbrush artist who's part of the Lacombe Art and Motorcycle Show and Sale. Patsy, how did you come to be involved with the show?
Maureen called me up about a year ago and asked if I would have time to bring some of my artwork here to the show. I figured it was mostly oil company customers, so I figured wouldn't have time to be able to work it out, but it worked out quite well because I have 4 bikes in the show.
I'm looking at some very, very different types of artwork. How did you become so diverse in your style?
Well, I was a paintbrush artist long before I was an airbrush artist. So having the artistic background, I just experiment, and I'm passionate about what I do, so I'll paint whatever someone wants.
So tell me a little bit about the process of figuring out how you're going to represent what your client is looking for.
Well, sometimes I think I'm like a psychiatrist, so I have to really listen to what they tell me, take their pictures, their ideas, and just work with them and talk with them.
And your favorite kind of client to deal with? When I ask about the client, I mean about their mindset. When they come to you, what client is the easiest to work with? What client is the one that sparks your fire?
Probably the ones that have a very clear idea of what they want, but they give me the artistic freedom to do what I want.
What kind of time frame is a person looking at to have an entire bike airbrushed?
So an entire bike, I would say for the art part, about 3 weeks, but then I have to coordinate with my clear coat man, so that's another week or 2 maybe, depending on his schedule.
So tell me a little bit about this particular helmet, because it caught my eye immediately. The 3-dimensional work that's in that, and the fact that the gal's mirrored on the back.
Well, the back, my little story is that's me.
That's
no,
you?
I'm serious. Well, I can be whatever I want to be. I just say that jokingly, obviously. It's got my tattoo I used to have.
Right.
I've got a full sleeve, but that was my tattoo. But the front, he just wanted a girl in front of an engine because he has a thing for engines.
Most guys do.
Girls and engines.
Yeah. The 2 things they can ride.
Yes.
Did I just say that? Where do you get your inspiration?
I have good reference pictures. I get lots of pictures all around me when I'm painting. Because if I try and pull out of my head, it's not so clear and precise, but good reference pictures make all the difference for me.
So if a client came to you and said, Patsy, I really, really want a 1950s pinup gal from like the Betty Grable airplane. Other than that, I could care less what you do. I just want this chick on this bike. Yeah. What would you do?
I would Google that information and take that information and run with it as far as he would let me run with it, because I want to go farther.
You artists are a crazy bunch. That's all I got to say. I mean, thank God for you, because you make the world a beautiful place. But I think you guys are really severely messed up people.
We are, but we love what we do, so it's all good.
Growing communities one idea at a time is Community Futures Grand Prairie and Region, providing business planning, cash flows, market research, and business loans. Visit www.cfofgp.com to see how we can help you.
You bought your bike from the brand you trust the most. That's what Dalton Timmis is for your insurance options. As a specialized motorcycle insurance carrier, we can get you the best coverage, customized to fit you at the very best price. Call 1-888-385-8466 or visit daltontimmis.com now to get your free quote.
I'm being joined by a gentleman named John. We call him Little John. Now, he's done some fabulous airbrush work, and he's part of the Art and Motorcycle Show here in Lacombe at the Lacombe Memorial Center. And he's been talking to me a little bit about this amazing Ultra Glide that he's done, a horse theme.
As usual, it's the customer that brings up the subject, and so sometimes they even supply me with some artwork that they like, you know. But he basically gave me a theme, and I just went with that and did some research, and that's how I came up with this job.
Let's take a quick look at it. So we have this beautiful theme, all knights and gorgeous destrier horses. I can't imagine. I haven't got enough talent in my little finger to draw a stick man. How did you develop your talent?
Well, I've gone to school to learn a few things, and I've been airbrushing for like 33 years now, and I've had some good teachers. That's where I got my talent from, the teachers.
No natural talent? All come from your teachers?
Well, no, I have a little bit of a natural talent, but you know, you're only as good as what you get taught. You know, that's what I think anyway.
And so a paint job like this, 3 months of your time, what would this retail for?
Around 10,000. You know, but that's probably a little low. You know, you give a price and you have to deal with that price. You know, so and that's the way it was. You know, you just do it until it's done.
You do it till it's done. So you've done the bags, you've done the fairing, all the side covers, and the tour pack is a little bit different from the rest of the bike. Why is that?
Well, yes, actually that's a memorial to the guy who owned the bike at the beginning. This was a friend of mine named Daryl from the Paw, Manitoba, and he got me to do the bike at the beginning, but he died in the process, and now the new owner has it. He was a very nice guy, actually, and so the guy put his portrait on here to memorialize it.
So the new owner of this bike actually chose to have a memorial rendering done of the original owner. Is there any connection between the two people?
They were friends. They both lived in the Paw, Manitoba, and that's the connection.
What is it that you love about your job the most?
The look on their face when they come to pick the job up. That's what I like about the job.
That instant gratification you can see in your customer's eyes when you've nailed it, right?
That's right, yes, and you know for sure when you see it. You know,
yeah.
And it gives you a little peace of heart, you know, peace of mind.
So if a person was interested in hiring Little Johns to paint their bike, how would they get a hold of you?
They would get a hold of me by phoning me. It's 403-304-9116.
And do you have a website where they can see some of your other work?
Yes, it's littlejohnsairbrush.ca.
Well, thank you for taking some time with me, John, and I deeply appreciate it. You are one talented artist.
Well, thank you very much.
And I'm being joined right now by none other than Blake from Cross-Eyed, Canada's probably best airbrush artist, at least in my opinion, for what that counts for. Blake, tell me a little. Blake, tell me a little bit about some of the work you've done. Some of your paint jobs command $15,000, $20,000. Yeah.
No, the highest one's $12,000.
$12,000.
That's the highest one I've done.
The highest one you've done is $12,000. That blows my mind because of the quality, the depth of your art. I look at your Keith Richards photo, and I feel like I should be able to reach into that picture and touch that man's face. It's so real. How many years have you been airbrushing now?
I started in '88, but didn't put my shingle out till '89. So, and it's been full time.
You do all kinds of demented things. So let's get into some of the most challenging artwork you've done to date.
I was abused as a child. I'm joking. I do a lot of evil stuff because my clients kind of demand it. You know, for myself, my personal stuff, it's even more whack actually. You know, Mom wants me to do thistles and flowers and stuff. So you know, you got to be able to paint anything. You know.
How did you create such a diverse talent? I mean, I look at a lot of guys that they're very talented, but they kind of tend to stick to one genre. Well, the majority of your work is what I call goopy gooly stuff.
Yeah.
You are capable of doing high-end art. How did you develop the ability for that kind of diversity?
Well, I got a lot of schooling too. You know, some people develop in their own little bubble, and there's nothing wrong with that. I have a lot of great artist friends that are amazing without any education. I needed to be developed. So I have a degree in commercial art, a 4-year degree in that, and I have a year of Masters of Illustration. So that taught me about typography and designing type and, you know, everything from menus to brochures. And I adapt everything that I do to this. So I oil painted for a lot of years, and I take a lot of that sensibility into my paint jobs. So my classical training and my commercial training kind of come together to develop what we call custom culture, but I do it on maybe a little different level. You know.
What's your favorite kind of client to deal with?
I don't know. The money chases the easy project, and I don't chase the easy project. So, you know, it's easy just to do a wolf on the side. I don't have to think. It's a photo, just paint it like the photo. I find that very simple. It's time consuming, but it pays well. When you develop ideas out of your head, there's no reference for it. So you got to chase a lot more reference, and I lose a lot of hours on them. But I mean, they're more fun, you know. So, you know, there's different approaches to my clients. The client that lets me, like Jeff's here, this project, he lets me go nuts with it. And I get a budget, and then I usually go way past the budget on hours, and, you know, it's just so I can look in the mirror. Well, I have a really athletic hamster. It runs really fast. Okay, and he's always keeping me busy. So my clients are just giving me the venue for that hamster to, you know, stretch his legs out.
So, if I came to you and said, I have an 07th Street Glide that needs some lovin', and I said, go crazy but not goopy gooly.
Okay.
What kind of a paint job do you think you would do for someone like me?
That's an awesome question. That's really awesome. Okay, we would get together, and I would give you homework assignments. We would talk about topics, and then you would research them a little bit and come to me. We would probably get together 2-3 times. Each meeting maybe an hour, hour and a half to 3 hours. And then we would talk on the phone, and we'd throw ideas back and forth, and this would probably go over the course of about 3 weeks. Then we would start developing the ideas for the bike so that we're inherently getting everything that you're about. So I want to get into your head, I want to take your ideas and just blow them up the best we can. You know? So it's not a simple idea, it's going to be you. It's going to be totally you.
And do you do all of your own clearing and everything after the airbrush work is done?
No, I have 2 painters that work together. Doug Van Ness and Dave, who owns it's called Screamin' Paintworks in Calgary, and they've both worked with me for almost about 17 years now. And you know, they're my best supporters. They make me look good with the finishes. I don't like doing them, so you know, it's good to have someone better than you in your corner. And these guys make it happen for me. You know,
your customers have got to love you, man. I could sit and talk to you for hours. I love your artwork. I love your offbeat sense of humor, and it's been a pleasure talking with Blake from Cross-Eyed.
Thank you.
The Sports Camera Store in West Edmonton Mall is your one-stop shop for drift and GoPro action cameras. We carry Canada's largest selection of action cam accessories, along with video sunglasses, hidden and surveillance cameras, and more. Visit www.sportscamerastore.com or stop in to our West Edmonton Mall location, lower level by the bay. Growing communities one idea at a time is Community Futures Grand Prairie and Region, providing business planning, cash flows, market research, and business loans. Visit www.cfofgp.com to see how we can help you. I wanted to show you something a little bit different from all the beautiful motorcycle airbrush art and actually bring you into some of the other artwork that is being displayed at this amazing show. And I'm being joined right now by an artist whose work captivated my soul as a florist, and her name is Kate Kilty. And Kate, tell me a little bit about the work you do here.
Well, I'm an acrylic painter, and I love flowers, and I enjoy mostly how they make you feel. I love their colors and their shapes, and they're an inspiration for me.
When I was a florist, I used to always tell my customers that my greatest joy was working with Mother Nature's most perfect creations and showcasing them. In a lot of ways, what you're doing, even though you're not arranging them, is the same thing.
There is so much beauty in florals. I have friends who are gifted gardeners, and just what they can do in those gardens. I take hundreds of photographs. I spend time outdoors observing the florals and the light, how it hits them, and it's just so beautiful. Somebody said to me that florals are like it's a way of describing how the world laughs. And I think that's very true. There's so much beautiful energy in florals, and I inspired. That's the best way I can describe it.
They're absolutely gorgeous. Now, what would it take you time-wise to do a canvas that you're extremely motivated about?
Well, it depends. I need to warm up when I'm painting in order to be able to see the subject and really get fully absorbed in what I'm observing. And that takes me a few hours, actually. And so I do some exercises beforehand on smaller canvases, and then I go to the piece that I'm inspired with, and I start to paint. And I could spend all day painting. Sometimes I'll finish a piece in a day. Sometimes it takes a week. It just depends.
These most amazing peonies, they speak to me. I can smell them. And that's what good art does. It moves you, and I just find the brush strokes and your use of color and the way you've played with the lighting, they were just picked. That's how it feels. So tell me a little bit about the inspiration behind this beautiful peonies.
Well, I have so many friends and family who are gifted gardeners, and that is what inspires me. Is they send me photographs. They, when I'm visiting with them, it's a moment in time that is special that we spend together, and that is part of where the inspiration comes from. It reminds me of them, and I don't know. I find these beautiful specimens in their gardens when I'm visiting, and I can't help myself. I just have to paint them.
Did you take any formal training?
Well, actually, I studied in business originally. Had nothing to do with art, but I always loved art. And when I put my kids into an art camp, I decided I would take some classes. And so over the years, I've just taken classes here and there, portraiture classes, drawing classes mostly, and I really started painting about 3 years ago full time. So
that's amazing. For somebody who's only been doing this full time for 3 years, I can't wait to come back and see your art in 5 years and see just how far you've evolved, because I personally think you'd be pretty hard pressed to move much more than this.
Wow, well, thank you very much. I'm very thankful.
Well, thank you again, Kate, for taking a little bit of your valuable time with me. It's definitely been a pleasure to come into your booth and smell the flowers.
Oh, thank you so much. Take care.
Jared Harrell, and the best artist, Matt Aultman, Octane.
Tell me about the little bobber that we're looking at right now.
Well, this is Hard Luck herself. This is what started it all. This is really my first ground up build. I had one before. It was a rigid bike, and it got thrashed up, and so with the parts that we sold, we started this one, and I've been building it for 2 years. I ran it last year with no paint, did some more tweaks, narrowed the front end, a lot of custom time, a lot of weld work, a lot of stainless steel polishing and aluminum polishing. And I had her all together, just no idea what color to paint it. And my buddy gave me this phone number from Matt here over at Octane Art. and he nailed it. Like, he did the black Enduro for me, beautiful job. The blue on the tank with a clean black stripe, fading light to dark to the back, the little bit of trim around the fender, like killer custom blue on it. And I'm just stoked, and you know what, I bust my ass for 2 years, sorry about the swearing, and happy to have it done. I can't believe I won the first show I ever put it in, so just really excited. That's
got to be an exciting thing for an up-and-coming young builder. Tell me a little bit about the paint process, because this looks like it's an extremely deep paint job, as far as you've probably got a number of coats and clear on it.
Yeah, this paint process is completely custom. The bike started as black and I built the custom color. Jared showed me a few pictures and magazines and stuff like that of the style and genre that he wanted, and just by the build, the patina on the bike, certain things, you know, it tipped my hat to how the style should be, and you know, I always feel my customers out and see what they want, and I delivered, and it's what I do. I paint bikes. You know, I paint for a living. I love to paint, and you know, I'm honored to have won. It's a beautiful thing. So, yeah, Jared's put a lot of time in, and he's definitely deserving of the best that I could give him, and that's what I did.
Well, it is a beautiful machine. I love all of the different little touches on it. I mean, when you look at it from a distance, it just looks like a cool little bobber, and then you walk up and you start looking, and you got to keep looking, because every time you look, you discover something else. How did you come up with all of these unique little ideas, like braiding your backlight and that kind of stuff?
Most of it was due to lack of sleep and a little bit of hallucinations, and I don't know. No, I mean, it wasn't nothing like that. It's just I put a lot of time in here, and I mean, I work a normal job too, so by the time I got home, there was no time for showering or shaving or even matching socks. I just got to the garage and I worked, and you know what, that didn't work, that broke down the side of the road, so I ain't doing that again. And this is what came up. It was just, I just kept working, kept tinkering, kept finding stuff.
Awesome. Well, congratulations, guys. It's definitely a beautiful machine.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.